Right here we go. Soundbite. All right. Welcome back to the Adapt Collective. I am your host, Jonas, and I am joined by my co-host, Peter.
Beitia.
Welcome
We're back.
We are back.
Yes, sir.
And today you've briefed me already on what we're going to talk about. Last time I think we might have mentioned it, that we're going to get into recovery strategies. And, right?
Yeah. That's been the hot topic.
So
where the question's been at.
So in order to keep the conversation, targeted, specific, we're going to only be discussing cold today, so we can get into it.
Yeah, it's just like,
and
there's so much to talk about.
Yes.
Okay, coach, the question, we will definitely do something hot exposure, like heat exposure.
We are going to get into all that, but first let's introduce our soon-to-be sponsors. So NOCO pre-workout drink. They have caffeinated and uncaffeinated. He's wearing the attire, proper attire.
Look at it, it says that.
Co-branded.
Yeah.
And I've already said that the sour apple uncaffeinated one is my favorite. So thank you, NOCO, to that. And then also LMNT, Stay Salty. Before we came in, I actually got a little watermelon one. The watermelon salts.
I have a mango chili.
Yeah, the watermelon's
We're on the same page.
Fancied that.
LMNT.
Stay salty for that, for the sodium intake, your minerals, your electrolytes. If you're working out in the day.
It's hot.
Yeah. Good for fasting as well.
It's like 80 degree, like 80% humidity.
Rough. And then Celsius, usually what? A carbonated drink, recovery drink after? I haven't browsed their catalog, but some of them.
They have carbonated stuff too.
They have carbonated and non-carbonated.
Caffeinated stuff.
Yeah, the one with that is sometimes carbonated stuff bothers people's stomachs, and we carry the non-fizz one. So check out the front desk if you want to get that.
No fizz.
No fizz. And a little microphone problem here. All right, so as said before, we're going to get into cold water strategies, and just to kind of, there's so much info out there as far as like where people are pulling knowledge from. I think just to keep everything on the same objective viewpoint, we're going to use some data from the very, very high up the source, Huberman, Andrew Huberman. We're going to just use a study that he has about cold water exposure, some strategies there, how you could apply that to a routine you're already doing. I personally know a lot of people that have just recently purchased cold tubs for their house.
Yeah,
so they're obviously
hot commodity.
Yeah, so they're obviously looking to make it more of in their routine.
Yeah.
And with that goes the big shallow ocean of information of things that you should and shouldn't be doing and all this info. So we just hope to kind of streamline all that info for you, so it's not so confusing. Focus on this one study, and just we encourage you to check out his whole podcast as well. But we're going to try to condense some of that. So let's go into first, like what is actually going on as far as someone who's just getting into cold water exposure.
Can I preface this by saying that the first thing that a lot of the materials say is making sure that you are doing these exposures, regardless of heat or cold, safely. And I think that's the biggest point of this whole kind of body of that we're going to talk about, because when you're talking about safety, then you're applying that intention.
Sure. I think sometimes people take for granted that we work with people who've never done this before, and we're practitioners. So we don't always get the benefit of working with a highly athletic individual who has the stress tolerances for this stuff. Somebody, someone who's not doing any cold, that's just getting into exercise, and now you're going to introduce cold water exposure. So the primary thing is just to make sure that everything's safe.
Safely do it.
What are some top things that we're looking for with that?
You need to make sure that you're doing it deliberately, right? That obviously, I fell into this cold plunge. All of a sudden, you're just doing it because you're doing it.
But like, what about people's heart? People, like, do they have to get cleared by?
I would say
their doctor. They're going to have mobility issues getting in and out of the tub. Let's just take it from beginners, and we'll get right into it. We'll just like,
if you have probably some metabolic restrictions, right? I would obviously consult with, a PA, right? Like if you have that hint of hesitation on something that you're about to do, then obviously at that point refer to somebody, right?
So-
At least to one of your trainers, local trainers, and then at that point, then obviously to make sure that we've done proper screening, that hey, as long as you're doing it within these protocol measures, that okay, you're good to do it.
And
right?
this is in the hierarchy of like first off, like why we're going to start doing these strategies. So purpose and intent, and then safety. Like
Yeah.
the body has to feel. You're doing it to, obviously you're stressing your system. There's, there's no it's ever going to feel like the best feeling in the world. But we're going into the stress exposure, and the body has to feel safe in the environment. This is
For sure.
where any kind of breathing technique you're going to apply.
And just gradual progression of it. Like,
Correct.
Don't just expect that like you're gonna get 3 minutes, or even if you're not doing it, let's say a minute. Start at, hey, let's do 10, 15 seconds, right? It's I think the important thing here is like being deliberate and gradual and intentful.
Let's get into. Do we want to bring in any bullet points from the start of start glossing over the Huberman study?
From there, right? Most people's questions are like, all right, how cold is cold, right? Like, what should I be looking into?
So
is it 45 degrees Fahrenheit? Is it 60 degrees Fahrenheit? And I think at that point, it's really, hey, what can you handle, right? Everybody's different in terms of like subjectively how they perceive that cold.
Right.
So if it feels cold, then you're on par, right?
Yeah. So
don't worry about so much about the temperature.
So, but there is a marker, like an index that we could stay in between. So what is the recommended range, or even is there one?
Yes. So one study showed significant and prolonged increases in dopamine when people were in cool, right? This is 60 degree Fahrenheit water for an hour up to their neck.
68, you said?
60.
60.
60
Okay.
Fahrenheit. Yep.
That's
It's
That's recreation, by the way. I feel that could be up into
60 is not.
It's gonna wake you up, but
Yes. It's cool.
I've been at a
cool.
beach where it's been that.
Yeah.
That is what I'm trying
And you're
to
like,
say.
ooh.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
brisk, like the
Yeah.
Mediterranean.
Mhm. I don't know. It could be colder.
It's nice.
Yeah. And other studies described significant increases in epinephrine for just 20 seconds in very cold water, and that was at roughly 40 degrees Fahrenheit.
I feel that's a long time to wait for that dopamine spike. An hour. We could expedite that.
Yeah, quick.
Yeah, with the temperature drop. All right, so keep going. Let's go. What do we get into the range or?
Yeah. So range is like anywhere between 60 to 45 degrees. I've been in places that like they'll have it even colder, like 40, 42 degrees.
Yeah, 38 to 42, I think is the sweet spot for me.
Yeah, and it just, if it's colder, like if it's really cold, like 40-ish, that's really cold,
Yeah.
right? You start getting to the 30s, ultimately what's going to happen is that you can't be in that body of water for longer because it's even colder.
Yeah. Yes.
So the adaptation is a lot quicker.
There are when I go into the cold, I usually only do it for about 3 minutes, and what I'm looking for is to have, feel that compression from the cold as the blood kind of draws back from my extremities. That to me,
that's a constriction.
yes.
Yes.
So before I had access,
It happens very quick.
Yes, I enjoy that feeling. Like even though at
It's
first,
like
yeah,
a jump.
if it generates
natural.
correct, and when I'm routine with it, when I'm super regular with the cold exposure, I don't have as much of a shiver response as I do when I'm not so regular. So sometimes 3 minutes is enough for me at that temperature range to maybe either get a shiver response and or get that kind of feeling of the vascular contraction.
Yeah.
Right. And then and before I had access to the cold water, I would actually I really liked the Kelly Starrett had like a blood flow restriction method of recovery with like a band,
Like a
voodoo floss.
Voodoo
Correct,
floss,
correct.
yes.
Where you compress the tissue for a couple minutes, and you take it off, and you feel
you get
that.
vasodilation. You get a rush of blood back.
And so I just feel, for me, that feeling makes my body feel the best for exercise.
Well, you're circulating.
Yeah,
the
that to me,
body of water.
So when I do that, that's the whole thing I'm looking for in the cold water. And if it makes a shiver response, because everyone's like, well, why do you do it? Well, why? And there's so many things that we can get into the benefit. I think you know,
and we'll get
we're
into
gonna
that
get
too.
in there. There's a lot of stuff.
After that, then it's like, oh, we're talking about cold exposure, and then that can happen multiple ways. So you have, like we have here at Adapt, we have cold plunge, right, or ice bath. Though I feel like an actual ice bath is a lot harder than a cold plunge, because, and we'll get into this because there's part of like what they mention here in terms of the shiver protocol.
Right.
But then you have cold showers, right? That's a cold exposure, and then you have cryo, which is like when cryo's like nitrogen based, right? Like it's
cryo.
Cryo.
Yes.
Yes. It's nitrogen based.
That's a gas, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
Right. And that's very brief.
Yep. And I feel that also won't have the same skin surface feeling.
Yeah.
Right. It's not gonna translate the cold.
It's not gonna burn as.
It's nothing like cold water, man. There's nothing.
Well, and basically the rest of like the data that we'll give is a lot of it is based off of basically ice baths, because it's a lot easier to control. It's a lot more researched basically than the other modalities that there is. But then, okay, benefits like you were hinting to. What do you said you like that feeling?
I like the,
because that's a what you like there is like both the mental kind of psychological aspect and the like physiological.
Yes.
Aspect.
Don't get me wrong. Like
there's two.
Yes,
right?
correct. I get in, and if I haven't been, like I said, if I haven't been like steady with it, I'll start having like shivers, like, and that's okay. I just deal with that, and then but 3 minutes is good. But to somebody who might be looking for it from more of a compositional perspective, might want to look at it.
For sure.
You can start talking about how cold has an effect on body fat.
Yeah.
All right. So the whole conversation, okay, if we're talking about, vascular dilations over here and constrictions here.
Very physiological.
Yes. Joint compression, maybe things more, some bumps and bruises.
More structural, anatomical. Yeah.
I've had a bruise before, and putting it in there felt great. So now we're getting over into, somebody who's not, not bruised. They don't have these.
Basic recovery.
Yes. But they're a little overweight. By overweight, we mean fat.
Okay. Yes, I'm following you.
So
or just
there's a we need. I want to preface this by saying we need fat, and within that there are the
good fat and the bad fat.
Yes, we'll just call it that, just not to confuse anybody.
Yeah.
And so the cold actually promotes the production of more good fat, and
correct.
That correct, right?
Which is beige and brown.
Yes.
If we start getting very technical.
Correct.
That helps with all sorts of like hormonal responses. It helps with a lot of like a reflexive aspect, and then it helps with the metabolism aspect. Basically, it's that good old calories in, calories out, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
Because you introduce that cold body of water, you feel cold, naturally the body's gonna have the response to that shivering, that shake is your body. Hey, wake up, you need to drive your temperature up.
There is
and with that, obviously you need to do calories out, right? Because in order to burn, right, in order to heat up, you're going to use a certain amount of caloric expenditure. And that's where the magic happens of turning that white to beige fat.
Yeah, and I just want to also, I got this information from a book. It was a great book called The Secret Life of Fat. I wanted to definitely give this a shout out. Sylvia Tara, she's a PhD, and she talks about specifically how fat affects women as a smart organ and how directly tied to our immune systems it is. It was so interesting, this book, where she comes from a biochemistry perspective, and it covers everything from prepubescent ballerina study, where they study a group of ballerinas, all the way to sumo wrestlers and how the fat interacts hormonally by what's happening with the person in the environment. It was fascinating. I don't want to, can go on and on about it, but it specifically talks about how fat is like a smart organ, and strategies that you're not just going to come in, calories out, and per se, and all of a sudden you're going to lose all the white fat, all the bad fat.
You would need to do this more than just a one-time bout in the cold plunge is what
100%.
Yeah, right?
But correct. You were looking, but you are looking for, just like working out is a stress, getting the elevated heart rate is a stress. You're looking for strategies that are going to compositionally change you. Or
that's going to impose that's a good stress when done correctly.
Correct. Absolutely.
Because then you need to properly respond to it, right? This could be the same thing, could be a bad stress, and you're going to negatively respond to it, and that could lead to all sorts of things like, all right, you're now have higher cortisol levels. Now you are emotionally eating, right, and making those decisions.
Getting lost on the dopamine angle.
Correct.
Right. Yeah.
You've gone too in. So there's definitely that metabolic adaptation that happens. There's that big mental component too, which we kind of like have somewhat underscored, right? And but you already talked about it, right? You start that dopamine kind of response that you feel confident.
Hold on one sec. We just got to adjust. Close that door. We're not sealed in.
There we go, sealed.
Get blown out the airlock that way.
Yeah. We're in space right now. Where were we?
You were coming out of the body fat composition.
Oh, but yeah, from the mental component standpoint, right? There's so many benefits. That aspect, right? That dopamine helps with energy. That helps with focus, right? But
I guess from a mental
but you're building that resiliency and that grit, in a very different way, right? Like you were just saying, like, all right, training is a different stressor when used appropriately. It has a mental edge that it gives you, right? Because like you get through that tough workout and it's like, yo, there's nothing I cannot accomplish today. It's gonna be the same thing if you're getting that cold plunge and you're like, all right, I went with the intent of getting that minute. I got that minute, right? I feel good. I feel awake. I feel, you know, and now you're going. Now you're moving through your day.
I think the shock is really, if you want to look at it if we're talking about the hard mental aspect and element of it, if you want to tactically think about why it is that people at a high level want to do the cold, and it's really not a lot of things are going to get you so close to the adrenaline dump as like a high fight or flight instinct. If it's like really fighting for your life, very, very few things that you could put yourself in daily are going to give you the adrenaline spike of getting into abnormally cold water and managing that for a specific level of time daily.
Yeah.
So I feel that there's something.
Not be able to handle that stress correctly.
Correct, because I mean,
and intentfully.
How would you, how would you get your adrenaline, like literally, and so you wouldn't be like so high wired. Yeah. It's. I think people don't really take into account, especially people that are starting for the first time, how like, hey, look, this is really going to kick your adrenaline up. You know, maybe you should start with just putting your feet in and just.
This is why people typically do something of like a meditation prior to getting into the cold plunge, right? Because it's going to put you in the right headspace, and you're going to be able to regulate specifically, like scientifically, literally. It's a top-down control process where you're regulating your central nervous system, and now your peripherally, meaning your appendages, your limbs, you're able to control the response that it's having with relationship to its environment. And this environment is cold, so obviously you're handling what it feels like. It's obviously really cold, right? So, all right, once you're able to do that, now you know you have that edge over it, though.
Does he mentions resilience and grit? Does he put any does he put any like markers on that? Like how is he? Where's the scale on grit? Less grit to most gritty.
I mean, for some people, this is like the most gritty thing that they will ever do, potentially.
That's right. That's my point. Right?
Yeah.
And that's okay.
I was in side tangent. I was in Idaho. It was beautiful. Lake Coeur d'Alene. And if you guys get a chance, if you're in the area for some reason, I was up there because I was doing the Masters track championship as a sports team, and they were like, "Oh, we have to go to Idaho." I was like, "Idaho? What the heck are we gonna do in Idaho?"
Big sky.
Trust me, it's beautiful. We got to this lake, and it just opened up, and we were like, July, pristine.
Right.
People were diving into this lake. Put my toe in. That thing.
Cool.
Freezing. I was like, how the heck are people in this body?
Oh, man.
And we were just kind of like swimming, and I'm like, whoa. But I got in because I've done some cold plunging. It's like, and you're like, and I felt much better about
You think you can
and
go?
I felt I gained a little resiliency on that day.
That's good.
Um,
Getting right in. I think there's things that you
no,
can
no,
do. Like
it was a gradual. There's a gradual thing.
yes.
I'm a gradual person.
Oh man, yeah.
You're just.
I have to get right in. I have to just turn around and go in. Yeah.
I mean, I guess it depends. Depends how I'm feeling. I guess.
And I remember to this day where the first time I was dunked in over my head in cold water.
ALS. Is it ALS?
It was
challenge or the Ice Bucket Challenge.
No. It was at Action Park in New Jersey in the 80s. I think I might have been 13, 12. And it was like a death ride park. Like they were cut. It was like the people that built the rides there. There was no safety or anything. I think there's a whole documentary on it. Anyway, there was one ride that dumped you out into like the mountain runoff lake. It was like beautiful. And you go in and it was my first time, they hose you off and you jump down this concrete tube, spit you out, and you land in this water and the shock. First of all, you land from up high. So you're like 12 feet, 15 feet deep. And I was like, I froze. And I remember thinking that I had to think to like, dude, you have to get moving. You have to move. I was so frozen. And I had pins and needles getting out of there for maybe like another 5-10 minutes. And I'll never forget that. And ever since then, I'm like, I just get right in.
Fair.
It's torture the other way, going in one thing at a time.
No, not necessarily. Like
Arnold from the Terminator 2. Come on here.
I'll be back.
Go in slow.
Listen, to each their own. All right.
Supposed to get out slow. Get out slow. You get in quick.
But definitely, other things: enhancing mood. We've talked about increasing metabolism.
Yep.
Building that resiliency. Right. That focus with the dopamine, and then
timing. What are we talking about?
Yeah. So like we should get into like a little bit of like, all right, what's a sound protocol and
before,
there's a lot of
after,
different research.
Before my conditioning.
Where you want to start? How much time?
How much time do we have to talk?
No. How much time? Literally, that's usually the biggest question. Like, Coach, how many minutes should I be in there?
I could only attest to one. I do 3 minutes when I'm doing. If anything I'm stretching out, I'm usually in the sauna, which we'll have to get into another time. But my sauna times far outweigh my cold plunge times just by length.
You know what they suggest?
Tell me.
11 minutes per week. And that's
of sauna?
Oh, no. Sauna. Can't do that to me.
Of cold. 11 minutes?
11 minutes of cold per week total. So you don't have to do this all in one shot.
And then after what?
And if anything, it's recommended that you break this up.
That's good.
So 2 to 4 sessions, anywhere between a minute to 5 minutes.
Oh man, that's exactly. It's a minute to 5. Yeah, that's I land right on 3. That's just me.
Yeah,
in and out.
I think after 5-7 minutes, it's like, and we can get a little bit more.
Yeah, but like literally, like once I feel like it drawing back, I'm like, okay, good. That's what I'm looking for. It's not like me. I'm keeping that voodoo floss band on for half an hour.
Definitely, and I think we talked about this pre-show. As a massage therapist, licensed, and one of the things that I remember going through school was when we talked about cold exposure. In terms of like how you feel cold exposure, you're usually gonna feel in these steps: cold, burning, achiness, and then numbness. As soon as you've reached that numbness, as soon as you reach it,
you're good. Yeah,
you're done.
They're done. Yes.
Right, and then so for you, it's the 3 minutes. For me, it could be the 5.
It's enough. It's enough
because of how much you acclimated to that body of water.
I like the burn. I actually like. I like when I get out. I'm like looking to stay within that little burn zone right there.
Yeah, but there's other things that you can do to continue to feel that burn.
So like what?
But at some point, you're gonna be achy, and then at some point, you're gonna be numb.
I feel that's fair. Like
you can only prolong the burning for so long because it's like a pain receptor aspect.
All right.
And so
like after 11 minutes is really it's not going to get any harder. Like once if you can make it to 11 minutes, it's like you're good. You don't need to stay here until 30 minutes. Yeah, right. It's not like a drill, right?
The problem is you stop feeling the cold, and as soon as you stop feeling the cold, you stop getting the adaptations, those benefits that we just previously talked about, right? So
and you're hogging.
That's
the cold
why,
plunge.
you're hogging, and that's why like time is just okay. It's one element of like a protocol, right? We can now talk about, hey, we were literally talking about the mental benefits, but it could be a mental like activity, right?
Right.
Where it's
Yeah.
like that mental activity could only last by time frame. It could last 3 minutes, or it could last 7 minutes, right? Whatever the case may be. But that's another aspect that you can bring to doing a cold plunge or whatever modality you do. So you can count, like people count seconds, whatever kind of like regulates and like focus away from the
Yes.
uncomfortableness that's happening, which
Yes.
it should be uncomfortable, right? They suggest like counting walls. I actually did this, like so
Counting walls.
counting walls, and not like physical walls, right?
Right.
But these are mental barriers, right? So what's a mental barrier for oftentimes people?
Pain. You mean?
No. Okay, yes.
Uncomfortable.
Yes, that's a mental barrier.
I got you.
But that's just in a string of multiple ones that have already.
All right.
You feel the pain once you're in the water.
Yes. Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
There could be a barrier as soon as you make that conscious decision to do a cold plunge. You're like, ooh, I don't know if I want to go in there already,
Right.
right? So counting walls is like, all right, it's a self-validation where like, all right, that's a win for me, right? I made the intent. There was already a challenge that occurred in my mental,
Right.
And I chose to make that a decision to go through it. So like, hey, give yourself kudos for just getting in,
Right.
right? And then for some people, it's basically any time that your mind goes away from, all right, I'm in this tub, I'm feeling what I'm feeling, right? When it starts wandering off,
Yes.
that is a barrier, basically. So,
Yep.
Counting barriers. Today I
That's-
counted 5 barriers.
that's a win for people.
I did 5 challenges, whatever you want to call it, right? Tomorrow I'm gonna shoot for 6. Right? And so you get away from that timing aspect, because for some people, time goes super
Yes,
slow when you start. You're like, man, I did a minute outside and I didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
And I'm in here
There's
and
an
I can barely do
equation.
30 seconds.
There's an equation to
Yeah.
that. The level of perceived pain to a time paradox. I have it
Yeah.
as in the collage folder of my phone. I will pull that up another time. But we have at Adapt we have cold plunge here. We have 2.
Yeah.
We started with that one where you're in
Well,
a
we
little
started
bit-
with one, and
yeah,
then it was like,
with
whoa,
that more
this is
upright
great.
position. Yeah, the other one that
You gotta go in all the way. The
Yes.
the white one, it's like a low rider.
So
Kinda.
yeah, so use them here. Let's just talk a little bit about the protocol for people that are going to be listening to it for the first time and maybe they haven't had the know what to do or a little supplement to the tour that we give here. So when you come here, just if you've never been here, they will show you where
For sure.
the cold
And
plunges are.
how to use them.
Hopefully somebody sent this to someone who they want to start getting into cold water exposure. So you definitely want to be in the right attire. So don't wear the clothes you are working out in,
Yeah.
preferably.
A bathing suit.
Yeah, you could, and not only that, if
Rinse
you are,
off.
rinse off. Go
I
down
think
to
that's
what
the
you,
biggest thing too.
yeah, go down to what you minimally want to wear into the water. Rinse off.
Yeah.
We with the hose there. So and that's already going to help kind of get you acclimated to a little bit colder temperature water.
That's your first barrier.
Yeah, if you can do that, if you could spray off, I feel that.
It preps you already.
Yeah, I see people who were like they're not comfortable with it. I'm like, man, if you're not comfortable with that, you better.
Well, okay, hey, maybe you're just there.
Right, exactly.
And that's the point where it's like, all right, just be true to like yourself. Like, are you doing cold showers? If you're not doing cold showers, then you should probably not do an
start there. Yeah,
ice bath. Maybe start doing some cold showers, and then you start acclimating to it. Right?
Yeah.
Rather than jumping in like Jonas.
well, it took me a while to get there. I do cold showers. I love cold.
Exactly.
But that's why you're doing that. You don't necessarily have to, like we said in the beginning of the show, you don't have to worry about so much of the nuance of the degrees.
Yeah.
It's like even the tap water, cold tap water can generate a shock response to cold
Exactly.
water. So I mean, you
Yeah.
got to start somewhere.
Yeah. And think the next part that you can think, all right, so we can think about it in terms of time.
Oh, wait, hold on. There's a little protocol to get into that. So we rinsed off. Now there's 2 of them that we have here. On the big one, do you like face? This is just a personal preference. This is where I always notice. I see people facing both directions. I feel that the way that the one is cut, that you face away from the entrance. You face towards the studio back here.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Well, like, you got to go in.
Right, but
if you're gonna go into that one, yes.
Some people put their feet where the head go. I feel, and like they sit more upright. Where
For that, you might as well sit in the other one, the seated one.
Man, getting at that angle, that's where.
And people sit like that because they don't want to put their upper shoulders.
Right.
Or it's a lot harder. The face in.
Yep.
It's a lot harder. Your arms go in.
Yep.
And like.
And I feel the one that's upright. You feel the circulation of the water a little bit more. Like you feel that, and that makes
So
it a little bit.
that
cold.
goes that goes into like part of the protocol where it's like, all right, in terms of time, once you're in, you want to feel the shivers.
You're looking for that.
You're looking for it, right? So, okay, yeah, I could spend time in here. I can
Stay still, move
I
around.
could work through my mental barriers, but actually move. And listen, by no means flop around like Free Willy in there,
Right.
okay? Unless you're in a cold pool or, you know,
Slow movement of the
wrist-
water. Break
the
the
eggshell almost.
Yeah,
right?
what
It's an eggshell.
of thermodynamics, isn't it?
Yeah.
What is it's like a barrier between you and the water.
Yeah,
So you got to keep.
you become that first layer of
Yeah,
it becomes numb.
insulation almost, right? Yeah.
Right. But if you just stay still, you're not letting the cold in. You're not feeling it.
Well, yeah,
You're not feeling it. And so if you're not feeling it, then you're not getting the benefits. So
I like correct, and that's really why there are jets in some of these. The one that we have here, it's like when you're in there, I feel the one that you sit upright has the jets closer to me, so where it's more
there's some,
uncomfortable.
like, palpitation,
Yes.
kind of like happening.
It's-
So if you feel it,
I feel a shock and
because
reshock.
you can't make that eggshell.
Correct. I'm never really getting used to it because
Yeah.
there's like all these sudden changes of drops and rise
Yeah.
back up and then
Yeah.
drops again. And it's like, oh,
That's why that one is good.
yes.
Yes.
That's
That's why that one is good.
I'll try to sit backwards in that one just to try to get my shoulders underneath.
Yeah. They're like, why do you guys have two different ones? I was like, they're very different.
Yeah, they're very different.
People are like, oh, I like they like the one laying all the way in, but
yeah,
I sometimes like the seated one, like you said, because you feel that.
the one up at
Listen, if I can go into it and in 1 or 2 minutes be done, I'm good.
yes,
Like I don't like I
Correct.
really don't need to be in cold water that long.
no 3 minutes, man.
Yeah.
I'm good. 3 minutes.
And so obviously you feel the shivers, you know you're good.
Breathe
The
through
big-
that.
the-
Breathe
but-
through that. What is?
But when you get out, though, right? When you get out, most people, they instantly want to warm themselves up. And they're kind of stunting that metabolic response, so that thermodynamic response, which is what you alluded to earlier in the show, where you all of a sudden feel that rush of blood. And
right.
because you feel that rush of blood, your pain receptors are kind of like, oh, right? And that's where you feel those pins and needles,
Yes.
right? And then that's your body kind of waking up and starting that engine again. And you need that. That kind of goes back to that, converting that
Move
white
your
fat
blood.
to brown fat.
Move your blood around.
But it's like-
That's, this is
Listen.
where my grand. I remember this is really handed down to me from my grandparents. Like they were always like, you gotta even like hang upside down. When that craze came through. My grandmother had this old ass gym downstairs, but it had
We
all
sh-
the stuff that works.
We should do an episode on like wild gym crazes.
Dude, I had the
Like,
gravity boots.
and like I guess fads and like
yeah.
that was
yeah.
one.
I was really into that one though. The one because it felt so good to go into traction.
That's
Anyway,
Jonas. That's Jonas secretly wanting to be Batman, by the way. It's just-
man, I would watch. I've like 20 minutes. I'd be under there. Yeah, but yeah, hanging around. Sometimes I do the Spider-Man, but Batman was always.
Batman was Batman. Yeah, people stop wanting to, or they do whatever they can to not feel the shivers once they come out. And so
Right on.
you want
Instead of you want to let it kind of die down on
let
its
it
own?
happen.
Oh
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
Okay.
you want to let it happen. Like
You're-
I get that you're trying to, because that's what happens. We have the sauna right next to you,
Right.
so people instantly go back and forth, and we're not knocking contrast therapy.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
That we can get on. We literally could do a whole.
I like that. I
we
like
could
that
do
too.
a whole show on sauna,
Uh-huh.
and then we can on like a hot exposure or heat exposure,
Yep.
and then we could do a whole together and what that looks like, because
inevitable.
there's so much intricacy in terms of like all the benefits and how to time it correctly and whatever
Yep.
the case may be, that at times it does become too much, right? And
Sometimes I'll only some days I'll finish with the cold, but then some days I'll just sauna without the cold.
and so I think you alluded to it, like, should I do it earlier in the day? Should I do it later in the day?
Around my workouts, after what workouts, what kind of workouts are gonna have this benefit me? What kind of workouts am I kind of working against myself here?
Yeah.
Because then I feel that what I want to do that day, I am not really. This is what I don't like it when someone thinks this. What I want to do in my day is going to interfere with something that was important to me earlier in the day. So in other words, we're doing something to where like, hey, look, I want a little bit more pump on you, and if you go into the cold, it's kind of getting rid of what we were trying to do right now. So just maybe wait until later. But some people are like, but I enjoy it. So, it's like, when do you do it? Before, after, day of, solo? What is,
I think
what do we got?
what we
What's
got
it
is
say?
basically depends. There's always a depend, right? It depends on your context, right?
Yep.
If in terms of day and night, right, or when in the day, I think that's the easiest one to answer right now. It's probably best to do it earlier part of the day. Now, don't get us wrong, right? If you can do it only at 5 o'clock, then it's better than nothing,
Right.
right? But in terms of like following regular circadian rhythm and regular kind of thermodynamics of like, all right, in the morning, right, we wake up, our metabolism, our core temperature rises.
Yep.
Towards the end of the day, right, we're winding down, we're going to sleep, brings it down, right? Remember, cold vasodilates or rushes blood, and so you get warmer, right?
Yeah, I feel.
a brief cold exposure, right?
Yep.
So in terms of like, and that obviously starts your day, right? You feel more focused, more energy,
Yep.
and so from that standpoint, just day or night, earlier in the day is probably better. Like I said, if it doesn't happen until later, okay.
Yes.
Listen, you're getting it done,
Yep.
right? You're choosing to be intentful as long as you're choosing to be intentful. With relation to training, now we start getting a little bit more kind of gray.
Yeah.
I think
As
it's
far as where you're putting it, where you're putting it in the same day of training.
yeah,
So
right.
yeah.
And I think from what you were kind of suggesting is like, can it stunt my performance? And it depends, right? A lot of these things, a lot of the research, you'll see that there is sometimes a negative power performance, right? But it's because, hey, those are athletes, right?
Yes.
You might
I
look at the population of the body research,
yes.
right? And that'll tell you a lot.
I
right?
would.
In regards to the general population, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Correct.
In
So-
the grand scheme of it,
I think, and I might be forming a little correlation here, but I feel that the more sports specific the activity, the closer you can put the cold to it. So if you're running, you're doing sparring, you're doing you're doing wrestling,
mm-hmm.
you could put the 3-minute cold plunge like after. Okay, I'm gonna finish this session. I'm gonna go hit the jacuzzi or the sauna for 5 minutes at a high temperature. Hopefully the sauna would be at ideally like a 195 up. Go in there 5 minutes, 3 minutes in the cold, then I go home.
Yeah.
The more GPP training, the general purpose, I want to pump. I'm looking for a little bit more power. I'm gonna push a sled.
Yeah.
The further away you want the cold. If we're being
After.
correct. So the more
Right.
sports specific your activity, the closer you can put the cold. The more general GPP, I feel that from what I'm looking at people that are doing it like that. Okay, here are these athletes. When are they doing their cold exposure? Here are these people. And it seems to be not on a hard when there's a lot of weights involved. I don't see the cold kind of having, from what I've read or what I've heard, having as much benefit.
You want me to give you some
Give it to me. Give it to me.
meta-analysis of cold water immersion effects on recovery found that cold exposure can be a highly effective recovery tool after high-intensity exercise on endurance training.
Nice.
Short intervals, less than 5 minutes,
Right.
right? Cold water immersion demonstrated positive outcomes for muscle power, perceived recovery, and decreased muscle soreness.
After? Nice.
Yeah.
And how long? That's how long was that? How long of is it any exposure time? In other
It
words,
was a short,
nice.
less than 5 minutes.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. So then, where's all that talk about hypertrophy and everyone's talking about how I don't want to go in after the
Okay. The problem is that cold water immersion, right? Not cold showers. They specifically, like I said, they researched a lot more of the cold water. Can limit some of the gains in hypertrophy, right? Strength and endurance if done in the 4 hours or so after training. It's better to wait 6 to 8 more hours after training to do it if you're doing it before training, unless your goal is to simply recover without adaptation.
Man, yeah. So that's so if I'm going to put a blanket statement over my if I'm going to be the casual gym goer and I'm going to be like, okay, am I doing this what is this hypertrophy? I feel like it can get very deep now. Am I doing hypertrophy training or what am
You're
I doing?
specializing now.
Correct.
Remember, it's kind of like back to what you were discussing before that.
Yeah.
You know, so like, all right, general
Just get a
basic
time.
wellness, fitness, right? Hey, do it earlier part of your day, right?
Yep.
Preferably before your workout. You'll see that. Especially, I was having this conversation with a member the other day. I start my session, start at 4 p.m. You know, we're going through our session warm up. We're hitting our block.
Yep.
We're hitting our second block. It's been like 45 minutes. This person is still laying on the floor, kind of like lethargically, kind of like moving around. Like, you know, you see it like where you have that hard day where you're just kind of like, man, the energy's not there. And I was like, yo, I'm 45 minutes into an hour session,
Yeah.
and you're still like doing the same thing. And they had said, hey, I'm here to work out, blah, blah, blah. And that's why I'm kind of like, and I was like, why don't you go to the cold plunge? Like, it's like, just today I feel so tired. I was like, yo, if you go to that cold plunge for 1 or 2 minutes, you're going to come out here and you're going to have a great session. I promise you that.
That's great. And
You know? Now, whether they did it or not,
they're like, oh, you have that here. That's right. I think people forget that, honestly, that,
Yeah.
that doing it before.
it'll jumpstart you.
Oh, yeah.
It'll jumpstart you. On those days, that's a perfect thing to do.
100%.
And then we'll have this discussion. Heat, probably sauna in the evening. If I had to do it,
Oh, man,
right?
yeah.
Sauna in the evening.
We can't even get into the conversation of heat right now. We got to keep it all cold.
But I just want a little
Yeah,
sneak peek,
of course.
right? I feel like because you remember
Jacuzzi or sauna,
Cold.
dry sauna, infrared. Oh, man.
cold brings your temperature up, sauna brings it down.
Yes.
And at the end of the night, you're just trying to bring it down. You're bringing it so that way you can sleep like an angel, right? But yeah, I think we've covered a lot, honestly.
Yeah, no, that's interesting.
Shall we recap?
That was
really quick?
Yeah, let's go ahead and go
So
through.
make sure you safely do it.
Yes,
right?
be safe.
Intentful, deliberate, right?
Habit. These are the things that are going to help the habit forming element of what has to happen. Let's not discount that.
Yeah. And then from there, it's like, all right, in terms of cold, how cold, right? Do something that's relatively uncomfortable for yourself. I think that's the biggest thing.
I feel anything below 58. This is
You're putting a hard marker on it, but like,
Yeah, let us
it
know the
could be-
temperature.
it could be for you. You're at 60 degrees. That's okay. You might be at 32 right now, where you feel uncomfortable.
32. No.
I know. 32 is cold.
38 is my.
The Miami Ice Club, their tubs are, I think, lower than 35. They're
Is it
pushing-
actual ice in there?
Yes.
I think that's worse.
The ice is kind of like in the
It's
cedar one.
It's a different surface
it's always
pressure.
touching you.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the surface pressure. This is
Yeah.
why cryo doesn't do the job, because there's no surface pressure.
Yeah.
It's just temperature. I
Yeah.
need a little bit of surface. I need to know that something's touching me. You know,
Yeah.
the
ice,
gas.
the ice adds another level.
Woo.
Ice baths are cold. Like, it would be ice baths, then cold plunge,
Then cryo.
cryo, and
Well-
then cold. Like cold showers.
What the ice is it just completely ice, or is it ice and water?
No, it's ice and water.
Still, man.
Shit, you'd
Yeah,
have to.
but- Well, I mean, it's not like all melted ice and just the top layer is ice. It's you're sitting in like a slushy.
No. It wasn't.
ice and water.
It wasn't that slushy.
Because there's been
No,
ice
it's like
tubs.
chips of ice. Come on,
There's
Jonas. Well, then I went to the Miami Ice Slushy Ice Club.
Oh, I know what you mean. Like on the surface. Yeah, that's still cold, man. That is still cold.
But yeah,
Let's
up to you to pick which modality you want, right? Then remember, benefits are plentiful, right?
wake up, have fun with it.
Yeah,
And if you already
Remember,
do,
it's gonna help with energy. It's gonna help with focus,
Yep.
right? It's gonna help with the mental game, right?
absolutely,
Helping with the grit, and that transfers to anything else that you do.
absolutely. 3
The
minutes.
mood, that beautiful word by the name of dopamine,
So good.
right?
So
Everybody
good.
loves a little dopamine rush.
Yep.
Increased metabolism. If you do it long enough, it will help with your body composition.
Agreed.
But just like
Yeah.
anything else, if you come to the gym long enough, your body composition barring the nutrition and the other stuff, you
Yep.
know, don't just come in here. Well, coach, I've been training for.
That I feel that point I think is going to be the most thought about on the show of the topic of discussion, how it affects the body fat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll
because
get to more on that.
Yeah.
And then how much time, that's relative up to you, but they do say once again 11 total minutes per week.
oh yeah,
Per week.
after
Right,
that
break
it's-
that up.
So no benefit over 11 minutes. Outside of mental or hey look
Outside of-
bragging rights.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Outside of that mental, I mean, okay, you have more grit than me. Great.
That's good.
From there, you could also do it by, all right, hey, once you feel the shiver, great, good, get out.
Shiver response, right?
Shiver response,
Sometimes, yeah.
right? Don't inhibit it after the exposure, right? Like feel that shiver, right? That's gonna raise your temperature, right? It's gonna help you focus, right? It's gonna help with that metabolism effect.
Don't jump right back into the
Or
the
count
close.
or count walls, or count, or listen to your brief meditation while you're doing it, right? Whatever helps you kind of regulate that top down approach.
Start small.
right? Like controlling the mental game. Like, all right, I'm feeling this, I hate this. Like control those thoughts, and you're now starting to basically regulate.
This
the
is
rest
where
of your nervous
this is where I feel like getting past of the well, why do I want to do it if I don't want to do it? Like I feel like, okay, well, if we know that if you have one in your house, right? If you know the benefits of it, and you are interested in health, longevity, why wouldn't you add it? I just can't get past the fact sometimes that people just don't want to do things. That's why they don't do it. So I'm just trying to find a little area around that to
Yeah.
where it's like, okay, look, we're looking at it from that perspective. So just the counting walls as when you
Or
say it to
barriers.
somebody, or barriers, yeah,
Yeah.
it's like phooey.
Yeah.
It's like I don't.
Like, these guys went all granola on me.
Yeah, but getting somebody to start doing, like getting someone that wants to
It
do it.
depends on who you're working with.
I don't have to have the walls discussion with people that are like, I'm going to do it, but there are a lot of people that,
Yeah, it is like this could be whoever's listening out there. This could be your first wall, and as soon as you come here, or whether you go somewhere else, that's a win already.
yeah,
You know.
it shouldn't be a don't want to do. I'm
Yeah.
not going to do that.
And based on timing, better earlier than later, right? Probably good to do as a wake up call, right? Especially
Mhm.
if you know you're lethargic, or you need something to, like, you're about to do a hard effort, and you're like, all right,
This
wake
is
up
where
the
it gets,
system.
this is where the timing gets tough
Yeah.
because some people can't even work out in the morning, and if
Yeah.
you're like, oh, the morning, and you
Yeah,
work
I
out in the morning, that's great. Now you're doing it before and in the morning, so
At the end of the day, right? Can you do it?
right. So we'll
bottom
talk. Yeah, we'll talk about working on AM,
Yeah.
PM at a
Yeah.
later time.
And that's pretty much it.
That's good. That's a good. I feel that's enough info for people to kind of
sure.
have enough questions. If we don't hear questions, and go back there, see people applying this knowledge. I want to.
We gotta keep it brief. because
Celebrity hot tub?
We've been on a tangent.
Yeah.
But
No, I thought that we stuck on topic. I don't think
Yeah,
we were
yeah,
on too
yeah.
much of a tangent.
yeah.
Let's go.
It's hard. It really is hard to go through all that information, and
Yeah, because I mean,
there's always questions too.
there's so much information out
Yeah.
there, man, and that people can get. And not only that, the degree to which they can go from one information bit to another, one source to another, is
I'm really-
nuts these days.
I'm really excited to hear your hot topic, because
My hot tips.
hot tips. I mean,
hot tips. Hot tips.
I asked Jonas before the show, and he's like, I got one.
I got one.
Excited.
I
And
got
was
one.
like, all right, cool.
I
Let's
got
do
one.
it.
I got one. So if you're new to the gym, you're just getting into a program to improve, your health. We have, as you know, we have the screeners, and the reason why we have screeners and client lists is so we can see measurably, okay, what are we looking for when you come in, versus what can we get measurably that we both agree can happen in the beginning of the conversation. So I think don't order off the menu as far as if you're a new person to the gym. So in other words, there's so much information out there, and the analogy I want to use is getting information used to be like an ocean of information, where it was a small, deep ocean where you really had to go look for sources. The sources that were popular had to be a little bit more, sought for. And so there wasn't really a lot of jumping around as far as, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. There wasn't a lot of things that, because to go to the next topic, it was like it took forever.
Yeah.
Now with this age of information, you have a very, very, you can get information 10 times, 100 times the more than you could before. So, but I feel that it's a very large, shallow ocean. So in the beginning, I like a lot of people.
You have so many.
You
things.
have, dude. For a client to not have Instagram, and when they get going into the gym, for the algorithm to not start sending them fitness routines and this and that,
Yeah.
and it's very hard for them. Oh, well, why don't we try? Why don't we do this, or why don't because they start getting a little bit into the.
I saw that on that post.
The consumer mind,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's a little bit
Fair,
how you
fair.
consume fitness, and that's
Yeah.
fine. So just don't order off the menu in your first couple of months. Don't mention it to your trainer.
It's important to like understand as a trainer. Hey, what do you like to do? What do you want to do?
Absolutely,
Right?
absolutely.
We're not negating that.
But no, absolutely not. But I'm just talking about the amount of information that you're going to sleuth through, and if you don't know. Like there's a lot of great content on. I'm not bashing any content, but there's just so many.
Yeah.
So many people, and so like you have like 10. The sea of crap that they have to fish through is you don't know what you're looking at these days, and just kind of getting an understanding for what someone's trying to coach you through in person. Looking online can kind of get in the way of what I need that person to remember for the next time.
Ultimately, you
enjoy yourself, but
Yeah.
just no ordering
but
off menu.
ultimately, you're working with practitioners that have a body of knowledge, and you shouldn't trust in them.
Correct. We're not.
Right?
I'm not like forcing.
Especially if you're working in an environment like a gym, or where you're working one-on-one with a trainer, or you're
Absolutely.
doing group class. Like, hey, like they have some structure for.
Generally, what
reason.
happens is we'll just get a little bit more into like narrowing this down. It's usually like something super sports specific that someone will see, and it looks really like, wow, yeah, that. And it very much, maybe it's coming
shiny
from
object.
yeah, and it could be coming from a very high level guy, and it could
Yeah.
work for. This is how he's been doing it.
Yeah.
But
Or this is how his clients have been doing
correct,
it because
but
there's
you don't
somebody
know,
else
Correct.
Yes.
But you don't know where they are in
in the spectrum
in
of
the
life
season,
and
right?
yeah.
So they could
yeah.
be 2 weeks out from a game. That could be they could have a game
You're just
tomorrow.
seeing the
They
end
could have,
product.
correct. You're not seeing week 2 for them is going to look more like week 2 that you're doing. And when
Yeah.
you get to week 8, so it's like this is like let the appetizers come out. Let everything come out. Don't start ordering.
Remember that you're seeing a lot of the finished product, especially with all this information out there,
It's nuts.
right? You see what that perception of what it could look like.
There's no context,
sometimes.
I guess,
Yeah.
because I'm not
Yeah,
the content is
That's good.
amazing.
That's deep. Like that's almost stoically like.
Well, that was
Okay.
my tip. Don't
All right.
no ordering off menu for the new guys. Everybody else, give me those requests.
good one.
I'm here to serve.
You love a good analogy.
Um,
I keep harping on it, but I don't know if. Hopefully, our people are listening to it. Treat yourself like a sports car. I keep saying it.
Yep.
Right.
I see people pulling with very, very, very nice sports cars, and the way that they.
And hold on, because in Miami there's a lot of sports cars, and some of them don't get treated very nicely.
No. The roads, there aren't always the best roads around, and
Okay, hold on. Treat yourself like if you were a Formula One car.
yeah,
You don't need to know a lot of it, but you know that there's a lot of people helping you trying to take care of that car
absolutely,
and the driver and the whole organization.
absolutely.
Right.
You have to.
So there's a lot to, right? Accept help, right? I think that kind of goes back to a little bit of what you're saying in your topic, where it's like, hey, if I'm working with you, give me the chance to help you with proper progression or proper like what I think you need.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Take into context what you want too, but at the same time, it's also as an individual, you need to also do your due diligence.
Correct. Because
And-
you got to have fun.
Yeah.
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 Huge element.
And the fun part is when you go into that massage, right? And you're like, oh, yes. Yeah, you're sore, right? Like you rightfully you're sore because you've been getting after it.
That's right.
But then you need to do your due diligence. And maybe it's manual therapy, right? The massage. Maybe it's stretching, right? Come see Recharge memberships. That's why I'm saying it.
Very
Massage
good.
membership, stretch membership,
I love it.
right? Treat yourself on a monthly basis. That was my plug too.
That's great.
Yeah.
Do we have any events coming up on the? What's going on in Adapt these days? We're winding down the year. Not yet.
Not yet. Not yet. It's November. It's November.
Yeah, we still got.
It's the month to be thankful. So, we got Turkey Bowl.
I like the sequence of events rolling up into.
Sorry, it's December. What am I talking about?
We're
We're in
you
December.
gotta know your
By the
months.
time
We preempt the show, so we schedule everything out. We do a little time
we're
dilation
already
here.
festive.
We're already there.
we're already
We've
there.
come back from the future to tell you.
I told you I'd be back. That was my horrible Arnold impression.
What have you gotten anyone DMing you or asking you any questions about this? Everyone's just excited. I feel that we have the show going, and I don't know if they realize they could like ask and shoot questions or if they have time for. I definitely.
I'm getting a lot of feedback. Hey guys, for those of you that don't say it, we don't look into the camera. You know,
for all the
we're
feedback
riffing.
you have to. If you're like all the feedback you give, I love feedback, but just there should be. You have to have 3 shares. One feedback item, like if you're gonna give me feedback, okay, great, I need you to do this. But then if you're gonna come to me again, there has to be, okay, I shared it with 3 people.
Yeah. Yeah.
People.
I want to see their likes. I want to see their subscribes, and then
Yeah. So yeah, you can check us out. Well, hopefully you already are checking us out. Follow the link. We're gonna be on Apple Podcast, Spotify, and YouTube. Hit us up on our Instagram at Train Adapt. And
enjoy the holidays.
yeah, enjoy yourself.
Enjoy, and it's almost the end of the year, dude.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
How time is flying. So we love you.
We love you.
Peace.
Thanks for another episode. We
And we'll be
will
back.
catch you on the next one.
For
DM
sure.
us and let us know if you have any other questions. Thanks, guys.
Bye.